Great introduction. Every year, 150 billion bananas are produced for export. That same year, 75 billion are never consumed. 50% of the annual production of bananas go to waste each year. 50%. For the last 5 years, we have been obsessed with this fact. Our journey into the banana business started in 2012 with a seemingly innocent business idea. Let's bring this very popular snack from Brazil to the United States. Now, I know what you were all thinking. One, that is a bad idea. And two, that is an ugly-looking snack. Our plan? Introduce this tasty Brazilian treat to the US market and build a brand synonymous with banana-based snacks. Now, before we purchased a few thousand kilos of bananas to start our banana empire, we got our hands on as much banana literature as possible. I remember my wife looking at me saying, "You're really doing this. You're starting a banana business." Now, full disclaimer, we were 3 guys with no background in food wanting to start a banana business because we were convinced that the US needed this tasty, delicious treat from Brazil. Let's just say our friends and family were less than encouraging, and we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. So what did we learn? Turns out Americans are crazy for bananas. This was good news. The US consumes 35 billion bananas a year. That is 25% of the total global production of bananas. The US consumes more bananas than apples and oranges combined. Not surprisingly, we also found out that our familiar curved yellow fruit is not only the most consumed, but also the most wasted. So how? How are 75 billion bananas wasted each year? That number is so large, it's hard to wrap our head around. Are they not consumed? Are they spoiled? Are they thrown away? What's up with the banana? The results of these questions changed the course of our business and sparked a journey into the ugly side of food, and we haven't turned back. Over the years, we've been more lucky than smart, and we've been able to successfully upcycle 5.2 million bananas from being wasted. Yeah. Our approach was to identify where the largest source of waste in the banana stream was and make products out of that. We've exceeded all of our expectations of growth, built a multi-million-dollar business by doing good, reducing waste, creating jobs, lowering emissions. I mean, we were like high-fiving to the bank. We're a certified B-Corp, and we even purchased a banana car. Success, right? Wrong. 5 years later, all the fanfare, the net impact we've had on reducing banana waste, 0.0632%. Yes, that is a decimal followed by 4 digits and a percent. Not even 1/10 of 1%. I mean, we ran the numbers 3 times. Surely we had a larger impact than that. 5 years, a banana car, all that hard work? Right, 75 billion. I mean, it's a big market. The opportunity is huge. The sad thing is, this issue is not unique to bananas or fruit. It is rampant across the global food complex. Every year, we lose 1.3 billion tons of food. That's enough to feed 45% of the world. 3 billion people. Waste can be broken into 2 main buckets: consumption and production. The right side of this matrix is feckless consumer waste. We are all guilty of this. We have all over-ordered at a restaurant, let food spoil in the fridge, and tossed leftovers. We are humans, and we create waste. This is a huge issue and accounts for 45% of total waste. Today, we're going to talk about the ugly side of food waste, the not so often talked about and discussed, production. Production consists of a few main buckets: harvesting, handling, processing, and packing. These three buckets account for 55% of all food waste globally. Production loss varies depending on infrastructure of the host country and crop being harvested, but the averages are striking. Of all root vegetables wasted, 70% of them are wasted during production. 60% for fruits, 52% for cereal, 49% for fish, and 48% for meat. 715 million tons of food is wasted in production. That's enough to feed 1.5 billion people. The combined populations of India and the United States. So how? How are 715 million tons of food wasted in the production side? Unfortunately, this is a story about being ugly. The crazy carrot, the Frankenstein potato, and the not-so-round orange are no longer found at our local supermarkets. We are partly to blame, as we are not so keen to pick up the so-called ugly fruit and vegetable. And this pressure to produce perfect is systemic and highly unfortunate. Other factors contributing to production waste are inefficient washing and packing facilities, lack of infrastructure as in roads, and bruising and scarring during transportation. It's often we take one step forward and 2 steps backwards. Ugly fruits and vegetables that don't meet the quality standards set by retailers are left unwanted and unshipped at farms across the world. With 723 million people classified as food insecure, this is a modern tragedy. However, there's good news. Food loss is no longer a lofty academic goal discussed at Davos and the United Nations. What we started 5 years ago is proof that there's value in the waste stream. And we're not alone. More and more companies are creating value from the large complex of production loss, but sadly, it's not enough. We need a shift in the narrative of production loss. With 715 million tons of food wasted, we have an acceptance problem just as much as we have a systems problem. Food waste is taboo. It's taboo in your home, and it's taboo in the boardroom of large companies. Companies don't want to be told their actions cause undue harm, and they certainly don't want their customers to be told that. 2 years ago, the cover of Fortune magazine was War on Big Food. Since 2009, the top 25 largest food companies have lost over $18 billion in market value. The time is now for big food and big ag to get in the waste game. It's good for the P&L, and it's good for the planet. Companies are no better than consumers. However, we demonize companies exponentially more for all their vices. Big ag and big food are not transparent about waste because we have negatively stigmatized waste, creating the taboo we have today. The results of that taboo is a black box of food waste that is not discussed, shared, or addressed. Until we make this shift, waste will be a fringe problem for a group of passionate players trying to make a dent in a big issue. We need to address the elephant in the room, remove the guilt, and open the conversation. We need to not make war on big food, but work with big food. Today, waste is reported on a macro level. It's buried in white papers from the United Nations, but it doesn't have to be that way. What if big food and big ag published reports quantifying the commodity, item, or process they're experiencing increased challenges with? What if we invited all food companies to share their waste and not feel guilty about it? What if we created an X Prize style challenge calling on entrepreneurs, academics, and professionals to submit ideas on how to repurpose, reuse, or upcycle the 715 million tons of food wasted annually? This would create a world in waste is much more transparent and far more actionable. It'd create insight into where opportunities exist and invite entrepreneurs to tackle the challenge. What we started 5 years ago is proof, and I'm confident that with access to the right information, the community can make a dent in the ugly side of food. Thank you.